Welcome to the Real Estate and Small Business for Management Consultant Show. Whether you hold a corporate 9-to-5 or have determined that you want to explore the small business realm, this show is for you. Christian Carrillo talks to entrepreneurs and experts in the real estate and small business realms to discover what they do, why they do it, and how they do it to help show you the art of the possible. And now your host, Christian Carrillo.
Welcome back to the Real Estate and Small Business for Management Consultant Show. I am your host, Christian Carrillo. Today we've got a special interview for you folks. I've been trying to get the man on the podcast for quite some time, but our guest is Fito Garcia. Thank you for being on the show, Fito.
Thank you, Christian. I appreciate to be on the show. Excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fito is an entrepreneurial exec with more than 20 years of experience managing sales, marketing, operations, personnel, and merchandising at district, regional, and corporate levels for startups and established retail, franchise, and manufacturing companies. So Fito's been a resident and a member of the Fairfax community since the early 80s, from his days at Oakton to playing sports to pursuing his business and marketing degree at George Mason University. Fito has witnessed firsthand the benefits of a strong community presence in our local businesses. Fito has used his passion for marketing to help him grow multiple businesses and turn them into growing assets like marketing consulting company Creative Marketing, American Beer Garden, Courthouse Social, Highside, and his newest concept in Peruvian food, Inca Social, which has 2 locations now. So Fito, again, welcome to the show. Really, we're very grateful for your time. And, I think you're literally the epitome of what it means to be an entrepreneur, right? You see the potential in the market before others do, and you always focus on adding value and giving back to the community. But why don't you get us started with a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
I appreciate that, Christian, for the kind words and for everything you talked about me. I love marketing. I think that's one of my biggest passions. So for me, it's, I really like people. And I think marketing is such a broad concept, but it's really understanding people, how to target people, how to get people to engage, how to get people to understand, how to get people in front of people. And I think that helps. Liking that, it kind of can increase my passion. And that's why I really focused on business. I don't know, maybe my father always took me to his business meetings when I was a kid. So I started my first business in marketing when I was 19, 20. And we started doing events at clubs and at restaurants and at bars, and that because I learned more about the hospitality industry, marketing it, I understood a lot of the back end. As I with a lot of the owners, I was very blessed, and a lot of the owners kind of took me under their wings and showed me a lot. And that's where I got into the hospitality industry, and I focused still getting my business degree in marketing in George Mason. And I always studied economics too in George Mason. I didn't minor in it. I needed one more class. But for me, it was understanding how economics works and tying that into marketing was always really fun. And then once you really get a hold of something, I love marketing events. I love marketing restaurants. I love food. It kind of really pushed me to want to market restaurants and then own my own restaurant, as I was pretty much running one when I was in college. So I guess that's where I really focused on restaurants, where I started my business mindset. And then really now where I've evolved to is I want to start businesses, kind of give back, show off my culture, the Latino culture. We have Peruvian food and Inca Social, the newest concepts. We just opened the second one in Arlington, the 21st of December. But we really want to focus on showing off the Peruvian culture and food, and really the Latino culture, and how we kind of embrace people from strangers, from friends, and create that family environment, and always have great food, great drinks, great conversation. And then we really want to push that into the community, along with helping the community. One big reason we focus on the name Inca is because the Incas always helped each other, helped the community. The stronger tribes helped the weaker tribes, so that the entire Inca family was strong, and it was a good empire in that sense. So we want to follow their lead, and all my businesses right now give back to the community. It's part of the business plan, and we have a couple of businesses coming up that still part of the business plan. So I guess a little bit about me is I love working in marketing. I love working with people. I love helping people. I love watching them succeed in their own businesses and their own goals. And I love helping people so that they kind of transfer to the next step, you know? So that's a little bit about me.
No, that's excellent, Fito, and thank you for that. I kudos to you and everything you've been able to accomplish. And one reason we really wanted to have you on our podcast is every time we talk to you, you talk about, yes, we're growing these businesses, but look at what we're doing for the community. This is how I'm helping other people. So it always, all the successful people that I meet, it always amazes me how much they care about giving back to other folks. So, kudos to you and thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So one of your specialties is marketing. And I think I definitely want to touch in on that. A lot of our listeners, these are folks that maybe have a 9-to-5 job, right? Because a lot of us were taught, go to school, get a degree, or work a corporate 9, and nothing wrong with that, right? To each person pursue their own goals, their own endeavors. But a lot of them want to know about the art of the possible, right? What's out there? What can I do? Can I invest passively? And, in getting to know you, how did you sort of approach that, right? So you go to George Mason, you're getting a phenomenal degree, you see a lot of need in the market. You could have easily gone into a marketing firm, right? Why did you sort of decide to pursue that other route? Did you have any fears there? What helped you get there?
I guess I saw there's a couple of factors, right? I like once I did work for other people when I was younger, and I realized the process was very slow from a communication standpoint to get point. And then when I was doing it on my own, starting a company, I didn't do it because I think I was doing it. I started making money for myself, and I realized I need to make a company to really make it legit. And then I started educating myself outside of school of like, how do I do this? And I turned to the individuals that have done it. And I guess the question is like, how do you get there, right? Or how do you, the art of the possible? You have to look at it as in, if you want to move your idea fast, you're the best person to do that, right? But sometimes I was very lucky and very fortunate to where most people have their 9-to-5s. I ended up working for the entrepreneurs to do jobs that I wanted to do, help them out in some jobs that they wanted to do. So it made my process very easy, as in I worked for the entrepreneur, not as a 9-to-5 employee, as their assistant or as their person on focusing on this. So I kind of had to help them become a better entrepreneur. And in itself, I'm learning the bad things in being an entrepreneur and the good things about being an entrepreneur, the bad mistakes that you make, and then the good things that come out of it, And then really for me, it was finances. I was like, I'd rather help people make money than someone paying me, and I'm limited on my payroll. I guess that's what really drove me, really, when I think about it, is like, you know what, you might make less money as an entrepreneur for a while, but when you get your goal that explodes like 6-10 fold, and then you just surpass everybody else. So, and that kind of teaches you a little bit of patience, and you appreciate what you have and the goals that you get to it. But for me, I guess money and freedom was the drive force. I want to always have the ability to make more money, and I want to have the freedom to make my own schedule. Because in life, I mean, those time is probably more valuable than money, and then it's money, right?
That's amazing. So that it sounds like that was your why, right? Simon Sinek always says, start with your why, and that's sort of what's going to push you and propel you to those next levels. Something that you mentioned that I really want to call attention to, because it's a theme that I see recurring with very successful people, and it's that idea that formal education makes you a living, but self-education makes you a fortune.
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying outside of everything you were doing, you were educating yourself, you were putting in sweat equity to learn what to do, what not to do, and learning from not only maybe your mistakes, but also the mistakes of others, right? To help get you to where you want it to be.
Yeah, I think history, we should try to learn from others as much as we possibly can. Obviously, some things we're going to want to do ourselves. I think it's human nature for you to feel it before you say that's a fact. But if you have good data and you can look at something and say, hey, this route has been done and it went wrong, maybe analyze what went wrong before you do it, but don't do the same thing again when it failed, you know? So I think that's one of the things where it's great to learn from other people's mistakes, and it can help you kind of catapult you to get to your goal faster. But it's a very hard thing to do as a person, I think.
Yeah. Would you say, you know, when I think about anytime I want to pursue a new endeavor, I sometimes find that, I don't know if it's pride, maybe pride gets in my way, and I just don't ask people for help, right? I don't reach out and I say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Was that ever a problem for you?
Yes and no. I mean, I always like to collaborate with people, so I feel like I got a lot of help when I collaborate. I love working with other people, so that was easy. I never want to ask. I didn't want to ask for help, but a lot of people offered help too, I was very lucky. But yeah, I mean, for the longest time, even now, you put something on you, and I think some people have that accountability where they want to get it done, and even if someone else might do it, you want to make sure it's done the right way. But I guess you got to teach yourself to train everybody around you to be better than you, and that's the only way that you can have a life and have a business too. But I see it every day with my employees, with my management, to kind of teach others to do things, to get it off their plate is always, it's hard to let go and ask for help. You know, you feel like you're not doing your job, but again, part of your job is to delegate depending on the position that you are, and you're going to have to ask for help when you delegate too.
Right, absolutely. And I think you sort of led me to my next question, where I wanted to talk about partnerships, team members, and employees. How important would you say that all of that has been in your success and growing companies and whatnot?
I think that I think I've been lucky in every business I've had to have great employees. And you always have bad employees too, but the good ones kind of surpass the negatives there. But I think it's sad because you have an amazing idea, you could be an amazing person, but if you don't have the right staff, your chances of failure are like 99%, you know? So for me, I always say that my staff, my employees are the heartbeat of the restaurant or of the business. I truly believe that. And that's why I'm a big believer in growing our staff, growing my management, not just internally, but externally. I ask them what their goals are. I want to keep them growing with us. So if once they fly off the nest, we're so happy and we've gotten them to that point, and then they probably train someone else to replace them. So but your employees, I mean, it should be like your family, and it's the most important thing. It's what drives your business, what makes your business happen, what keeps your business alive. It's very, very important.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I can certainly attest that you're a phenomenal leader. So, you know, when you have a great leader, I think it makes your job a lot easier. But, you know, when I think about what you're doing and sort of the various businesses that you have, companies and whatnot, sometimes, you know, I also think about, you're a family man and you also give back to the community. What does your daily schedule look like? How are you able to accomplish so much? You know, we all have the same 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have an awesome family too. My boys are little, and it's one of those things where I always wake up. I spend time with the kids in the morning. Now one boy goes to school, so I spend a little bit less time with him in the morning. But regardless, I always have my 2 days that are strictly dedicated to them. And if I work, it's outside their awake hours, you know, before they wake up or after they go to sleep. And I think it's kind of managing, again, one of the things that allows you as being an entrepreneur is being able to make your schedule very flexible. So I guess where 9 to 5, you have certain hours that you have to operate, and it's dictated for you, versus I can wake up extra early, get some stuff done, have the rest of my day with my kids, or I can sleep in with my kids and stay with them. And then when they go to sleep, spend the next 4 or 6 hours getting some work done. And then also it's eventually I'm going to have to hire some babysitters too. And they help me out here and they'll help me out. Right now we have family, but for the most part, I mean, I think I have a great support in my entire family system, which allows me to help out. But I always spend a little bit of time in the morning with the kids. And if not in the morning, I try to do it at night, and at least 2 days are dedicated to them. So that way we can spend as much time together as possible.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you're certainly blocking time for what's important, right? So I always hear that time blocking is very important, and taking care of what matters, right? Because you definitely have a life outside of business and whatnot. But you
Yeah.
know, I'm curious, as we think about, where we are in society, everything that's been going on over the last 2 years with a pandemic that's going to become an endemic, right? How would you say that has impacted your business model and your businesses? How supportive have maybe the communities been throughout the process? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think at the height of the impact, we were helping our community, um, which allowed the community to support us a lot. And right before that, also we pivoted dramatically. So I'm a big, I guess, pivoting as in a sense where we knew we had to go at first. So we obviously downscaled. We were able to pivot and we paid the bills on to go. We weren't really making money, but we paid the bills. Then as the pandemic got a little bit loose, people were a little bit more open to go out, even just to pick up food. We started at least paying the bills and making a little bit of money. So we didn't really get hurt like most businesses because we were able to pivot so fast.
Mm-hmm.
In that point, realizing we were going to throw food away, we started giving food to people that needed it. And then when we heard the news about the nurses, we started giving some food to the nurses. We were like, if we're already here,
Wow.
we have to order food already. So let's just order a little bit more. And that way we won't waste food and we can give it to a good cause and we're good, when the community heard about that, they started doing it, helping us do it. They started just ordering food from us and it really helped us a lot. But I think what we did is we went to a model like everybody else had to go, but we continued that push, and you're going to see that in 2022. We're going to push the to go a lot harder, catering a lot harder, family meals a lot harder. So if people from now on don't want to be in an environment because they might not feel good, they can eat at home. And that increase, that went from being like 2% of our sales to 20% of our sales. So that's a huge push as everything's going back to normal. And we're continuing that. And then we also started doing our own delivery, which we're going to start doing more in 2022. So we learned a lot through COVID from people, from how to make money off to go and what other options that we had. We added on a lot more third-party catering and to go companies, which help our revenue as well. And I think most importantly is we realized that during a crisis, everyone's so scared about themselves. But I think if a lot of us are very fortunate, so even as scared as you are, imagine the people that aren't as fortunate as you.
Wow.
And it should make you wonder about that, and then we kind of saw it firsthand with some of our staff. So I told my staff they can come in and eat for free whenever they wanted. So I guess the pandemic not only taught us to pivot, but it taught us to appreciate what we had. And even though we were giving back before, we definitely want to give back a lot more now, not just me, but everybody around us. So I think that really helped us show the community who we were. And we weren't doing it to market ourselves. We were actually told to tell people. At first, we didn't tell people at first because we didn't think it was good to show off, but we realized the more we did it, more restaurants did it around us. So we created a positive vibe that created like a positive wave that helped out more. So it was always cool to see that and see all the restaurants do it and other restaurants that did it before us or did it at the same time. So that the community definitely helped out during the pandemic. We definitely pivoted during the pandemic. We learned a lot more from the pandemic, and I think we're a better company because of it. And you're going to see in 2022, we're going to have a new concept that's going to be more to go. We knew we were going to do it, but I think it really pushed us in that direction. And I think lastly, we've turned to some technology that we'll be using here shortly that's going to allow us to, if you don't have servers, we can run without servers if we had to. So allowing us to look for new technology to help us be more efficient and to help us serve our guests and our customers so that they're happy and satisfied. So as bad as it was, it taught us a lot.
Yeah. And, Fito, first and foremost, thank you for everything that you do. It's, as you're sort of mentioning, everything that you all were involved in, I couldn't help but smile because I think it's very important to give back to the community. So, you mentioned that you're a better company because of everything that you were doing. And I can only imagine the positive impact you had on your employees, but then also being a leader in the hospitality industry as well, right? So kudos to you, because I think, Bruce Lee says, be like water, right? You have to be moldable. So you adjust, you pivot to what's happening, and then you see how you can contribute and continue to help others as well. So I think that's amazing and definitely a testament to the kind of person that you are. So thank you for everything that you've done there.
Thanks for the words.
Yeah, of course. And one question that I did want to touch on before we dive into our quick response round is, a lot of people out there, they have this aspiration to pursue entrepreneurship, right? And I'll ask you in the quick response round about advice that you may have for folks, but for an individual that may be interested about entrepreneurship, that has entrepreneurship aspirations, what advice would you give to them as they're sort of pursuing different maybe verticals or sectors or different opportunities? What advice would you have for them?
So the question was, what advice would I give to them as they're pursuing different different areas to start their business in, or different?
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. I think it's the biggest thing. It's like you mentioned Bruce Lee, right? I love Bruce Lee. He's a great guy. I mean, from what I read, obviously, but he focused on his passion, and his passion was, he took an art and he wanted to make it better, and he wanted to teach people that his art. And that's really what he did. He did it in movies, he did it in classes, he did it in so many ways, right? But what he did is he found his passion. Now, I feel like sometimes it's really easy for some people to find their passion. Some people, it's embedded in their DNA. Some people grew up with their parents teaching them what they love. Like our chef, his mother would teach him how to cook with him. So there's a nostalgic feeling there, right? And every time he cooks, he loves it because he thinks about his mom. So for me, it's the passion is people. Like, I love being around people. A lot of people like to be alone. Like, I want to be in a room with 10 of my friends all day long, and I'm fine. My girlfriend might hate her, my wife might hate it, but I'm fine. I love people. So my passion was marketing. I love, why are they thinking that way? Why are they looking at it like that? Like, how can I make them realize how great this product is? How can I get their attention to come here? What am I going to get them to do? Now it's like, how can I get them to engage? Like, what content am I going to put that's going to appeal to my profile that I want? For me, finding that is exciting. I could do it for free and you couldn't pay me and I wouldn't care. Like, I love doing that, right? So I think the biggest thing is like, what excites you? Like, is it working out? Then go into some type of fitness, right? Is it business? Is it because you want to make money? You got to really analyze, what is it about the money that you like? You love making people money? Do you like making your own money while you sleep? Do you love looking at data to find out like what stocks are going to go up and down? Maybe you want to be a day trader. Like, you got to find your passion, and then find what you can do every day that's going to get you closer to that passion. So you're not working, you're just living a life that you enjoy. I guess that's what I would tell everybody before they decide what career they want to go into or what business they want to start.
That's excellent advice. I've always, when I was younger, I used to tell folks that, I want to own restaurants, I want to own bars. And they would ask me, why do you want to do that? And I would say, because I want to make a lot of money. And they would always say, that's not a good enough reason. Go back to the whiteboard.
Yeah.
So I love that you mentioned that. That's excellent. And Fito, one additional topic that I wanted to talk to you about was marketing, right? You are very, very good at marketing, right? And sometimes, like, I'm looking at some of the stuff you work on and you post, and I'm like, how in the world did he come up with that? Right? Could you just quickly touch on marketing, like how you approach it, and like the impact that it can have on your business?
Yeah, so marketing is a broad topic, right? Are you talking about like specifically content on social media? Are you talking about like stories? You're talking about strategy? What's like what was the thing?
I'd say like high level strategy, right? How you think about it and how you approach it. Because I think you've got it nailed down to the brim, right?
Yeah, I love strategy. I think strategy really comes down to the people and the timing. One of my friends, one of the owners of Zoom, he actually told me one thing is like, anything that's trending is key. So like, for one, you have to strategize your messages. I think you have to have everything kind of lined up together. Right now we're doing 2022, the first 3 months. So we know everything we're doing through March. So now that we know everything that we're doing through March, we need to break out all the details, and the message needs to be sent So I would say at least 1 month ahead for big events, a couple weeks ahead for certain events, and the week of, like, or the week 10 days prior, you got to start dripping a lot of content to let people remind them of what's going to happen. So it all starts with big picture, get your dates in order, and then finalize how you're going to drip it so that you get in front of the person that's paying attention to it. If it's a soccer game at the end of the month, you want to say something, you want to have visible content for a month on your site, on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, on your stories. The 2 weeks leading to that, your stories are going to be a big play, because you need to know, you also need to understand how everything works. Like, if you're going to know, the algorithm for Instagram and Facebook just completely changed. So if you were posting a certain way 2 months ago and you're posting the same way now, your likes are going down, your engagement is going down, your visibility is going down. You're probably like, what the hell's going on? You got to stay in tune of what they're doing to make it so that you don't get comfortable.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of things that go into it, right? But I guess, like, we can talk about this for a while, but it's just understand, having everything ready in place, being able to look at the big map, and then moving your chess pieces the way you need to, so you hit the right milestones, you hit the right audience. And when I said trending, is you have to be ready to pivot. So if the iPhone came out today and everyone's talking about the iPhone, talk about how, man, look at the great pictures you're going to take with your iPhone, tag Apple, tag iPhone, tag the trending things is going to bring people back to you, because proving food has nothing to do with iPhones. But if you take a picture with your iPhone now, you're looking at my restaurant. So it's, wow. You got to be ready of what's trending. You got to be ready of what people are paying attention to, and you got to know the rules. I think if you don't know the rules and you're playing the game, you might never even get to the finish line, So know the rules before you play, and know that all these services, all these platforms, they have a rule that they're playing by, and you don't realize it, but you're playing by those rules too.
No, that's excellent advice, right? It's if we're playing chess, make sure you're not playing checkers. So that's excellent advice. That's excellent advice. And Fito, it's been a pleasure getting to know more about you, and I'm sure that our listeners picked up on some golden nuggets that hopefully they take advantage of, right? And hopefully they get to reach out to you as well, because I think you're a wealth of knowledge. You offer incredible mentorship, and it makes me very happy to see what you're doing. But I definitely want to jump into our quick response round here. So if you're ready for it,
I'm ready for it.
Let's do it. So first question here for you. If you lost it all today, what would you do?
I would thank God for everything, all the experience that He gave me, and I would do it again.
That might be the best answer I've heard to that question. I love that. Because
I got the knowledge, I got the blueprint. Let's do it again,
Yeah, I mean, you're the chess master now, right? So you just go out and redo it. So that's excellent. Going forward, what do you have planned in your business, and why?
For Franca Social, for me in general, we're expanding. We're going to be doing a chicken fast casual concept that's a little bit more modern than your average chicken place. We're doing an app that's called Pronto. It's going to be really driven to the event, not just nightlife, for sporting events, for club events, for music events, which I think is going to be really, really cool, and people are going to really love it. But really, for me, the future outside of that, I want to help. I think I've made up my mind. I'm going to try to help build orphanages. I'm going to use our businesses. I want to use our network. And my goal is to literally have an army of businesses that are feeding in orphanages or orphanages around the area, so we can help kids. So no kids should not have a place to sleep, not have a place to learn, not have someone that's taking care of them. And if their parents are too busy working, we want to step in. If they don't have parents, we'd like to step in. My uncle does that in Peru, and I want to follow his footsteps. So that's what's my future. Outside of businesses, that's what my future holds.
Wow, that's amazing. We'll chat offline about that, but I'd love to support that in any way I can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. So if you could give our listeners one piece of advice today, what would it be?
I'll give them two pieces of advice that go hand in hand. I'll say the first one is invest in yourself and learn more. Never think that no matter how good you are, keep on learning about what you're doing, about your craft. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like a knife, you can have the sharpest knife ever, but eventually you're gonna have to sharpen it again. That's from a good book, Seven Habits of a Successful Person. And then the other one would be patience, because they kind of go hand in hand. Because whenever you're starting a business, whenever you're doing anything, it's never going to go perfect. Never. So some people give up and some people find a way to make it work. And just like I told my son, you need the patience, and I can't is not in your vocabulary. Just do it, find a way to do it. So between patience and investing in yourself, because you're going to need patience to invest in yourself. I think those two things are the key to anyone to be really successful in anything they want to do.
Yeah, that's amazing advice, and they definitely go hand in hand. It's like that you mentioned a book there. I think there's a quote by Abraham Lincoln in there where he says, "If you gave me an hour to cut down this tree and I have an axe, I'm going to spend the first 45 minutes sharpening it," right? Where another person would just start chopping at it. So I think that's amazing advice. Fito, how can our listeners get to know more about you and connect with you?
I have a webpage. I have social media, obviously. I always do. I am Fito, IAMFITO. But the easiest thing is go to FitoGarcia.com, FITOGarcia.com. You have all the stuff there. I mean, if you want to invest in me, if you want to learn about my investments, if you want to work for me, if you want to learn about the charities that we're doing, if you want to learn about the events that my business is or whatever we're doing. And if you have all my contact info there, and anything I do that's going to be really focusing on businesses helping, I'm there for anyone that can talk to me or that wants to talk to me. Anyone that has a cause that we want to maybe support, or anyone that needs advice to move forward, they can contact me through there.
Once again, thank you so much for hopping on the show as a guest. You are truly a wealth of knowledge, and we're just very thankful for your time. I know our listeners got a ton out of this episode, so thank you, and I hope we chat soon, my friend.
We'll talk soon, man. Hope you over a good beer and some lomo saltado. We'll talk soon. Thank you for having me on the podcast, and really thank you for the kind words. And I can't wait to see all of the other people that you bring on, so I can learn some stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, brother. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate and Small Business for Management Consultant Show, brought to you by Quetzal Capital Group. Quetzal Capital Group works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate while also looking to add value in the communities where they operate. Quetzal Capital Group. Client-centered, data-driven, result-oriented. Connect with us online at quetzalcapitalgroup.com to learn more.